Hey guys, welcome back to Olson's Garage. If you watched my last couple videos, you would have found out that we went through every single multi-process welder and we ended up landing on the Everlast Lightning MTS 225. We did our unboxing video, we bought this bench, and we started laying in some beads. We have this piece of dirty cutting edge that we tried out all the auto set functions with the stick, the flux core, and with the MIG. We laid a bunch of beads, and that's about it. We tried out auto set functions to see how close they were. Surprisingly, they're really close. So today, we're gonna fix this situation. We have our welder sitting on a dolly I bought at Harbor Freight, and our gas bottle ready to be tipped over so that we break off the connection and the bottle goes, like in the old cartoons, or just goes flying all over the place. That's obviously not ideal, especially because the bottle is really expensive and I don't want to be buying two of them and the new Magna CBR and KX250 and a snowblower. So we're going to take all of this scrap metal that we got from other random jobs that we found, basically just a bunch of garbage, and we're going to turn that into a welding cart. So over here, we kind of have our plans. So we measured out the welder. It was 27 inches long. So we ended up going with 30 inches here. We have 40 inches overall. But we did 30 inches just to hold the welder in this area here. This area back here is going to be for our gas bottles, and it's just wide enough where I think we'll be able to put the C25 bottle and the 100% argon bottle on here at the same time, as long as we keep that small 80 size bottle, and if we end up jumping up to a 150, I think we'll be able to fit both of them, and then we'll put like a chain right here and we'll end up being able to strap them both that way. On top of that, the Everlast welder, I believe, is like 10 or 11 inches wide. We ended up going with 16 because originally we were like, oh, we'll just go to 14, that'll give us enough room. But then we wouldn't have enough tank storage. So we ended up kind of meeting in the middle between this 14 and the 18. We ended up going with 16, which might change as we start building this thing. So we have our 16 by 10 for our tank storage, and we have our 16 by 30 for our welder storage. And then we're going to make it 24 inches tall from the bottom here to the top, and then we're going to basically make this a little shelf. And then maybe as time goes on, we'll try and put in like a drawer under here. But basically we're just trying to make storage for all these other things like our helmet, our gloves, maybe throw the grinder on there, just kind of clean up all this clutter that we have kind of in the welding area. So in today's video, we're going to be trying to fab up something. Now ideally, what I'd like to be able to do, since my brother and I went in on this welder together, what I'd like to do is be able to make a hook point so that if we ever move this welder from my place to my brother's place, all we'll have to do is hook it up, and we could potentially use the cherry picker or some other lifting thing to be able to get it into the back of the truck. And then we can unload it at mom and dad's. They have a little chain fall in the garage, so we'll be able to do it that way. But I just want everything to be as secured and as modular as possible. So I'm sure these plans will end up changing throughout the video, but that's what we're going to be working on today. So it's always a good idea to kind of plan out what kind of cuts you're going to be making as far as your lengths go. So right here we have two pieces. I think we're at like 45 and 43. We're going to use these two for our 40-inch lengths. We're going to take this piece, which is like 53 inches. So we'll be able to turn this into 3 16s. And then we'll take this piece and turn it into 2 more 16s. So that'll give us 5 16-inch pieces total. And this piece is like 61 inches. So this piece, we'll cut it in half and we'll be able to make 2 30-inch lengths with that one. So rather than taking like 4 25-inch pieces and cutting them all up into 16s, this way we'll have hopefully the least amount of wasted material. So we're going to set this up and we're going to start making some cuts. So here was my point in making sure you're using the right lengths of metals and how many times you can reuse the same piece of metal. Because after making all of these cuts here, these are my scraps. I mean, my longest piece at 7 or 8 inches, and then everything else is just little angles and stuff. I mean, luckily we'll be able to just weld these for practice if we want to do some overhead stuff, or we'll use those for other things still. But I mean, as far as our waste goes, we have all this stuff and that was our waste. It's pretty good. So try and save yourself a little bit of money by doing some measuring and some pre-planning. Alright, so we got everything, all of our metal, all of our burrs cleaned up. I bought these little things at Harbor Freight for pretty cheap. I don't know how perfect they are as far as our 90 degrees go, but at least it'll be able to kind of hold it in place. So what we ended up doing is we put our 16-inch pieces on top of our 40-inch pieces, and then what we have here, hopefully I don't mess this up and I can do it with one hand, we have right around 16 and a half on that side and 16 and a half on this side. And then I tried measuring corner to corner, but I think there was a couple variables that ended up throwing that off. Right here we have 43 and 3/16, and then on this side we have 43 and a quarter. I don't know if I'm doing this wrong or if that's kind of how you measure squareness, but if it's, I mean, that's pretty close for just kind of winging something up quick. So we'll make some tack welds, we'll adjust what we need to, and then we'll weld this solid and start making our uprights. We have to throw this in here, and then this is going to be like our gas bottle area. Throw this like this, so the welder will sit in there. I got some 1-inch pieces I'm going to end up having to cut up too. I forgot about those. And we'll lay those kind of across here like this. Like this. And I guess we'll see how it goes. So we made some welds. These are not very good at all. What I ended up having to do is I grabbed my little die grinder with another wheel and I cleaned up this surface. This is all galvanized, and I know, don't weld galvanized. I have the garage door open and I have a fan here, so it kind of sucks everything away. So after I make my weld, I back up, I let it suck out, you know, do what you can to try and mitigate it. I thought I had some masks. I don't know where they are. I'm definitely going to have to get a better mask for when I'm welding this kind of stuff. But for now, we're doing what we can to get rid of that gas. But another thing that we're going to be doing is doing a lot more prep work to this metal. It really does not like welding on this galvanized surface, which is stuff that I'm learning today. So we're going to clean up this area, kind of in here, so we can weld on this piece. So this will be for our gas tanks, and then this will be for the welder. So I'm going to clean up and weld some stuff, and we'll come back. We have our 230s, and then our 16s, and then this is going to be the top. Basically, we're making one of these again. So Well, I ended up cleaning up a little bit more. Hopefully, it'll weld a lot nicer, not having the galvanized coating. This is just raw. So, I'll lay a couple tacks, I'll burn in some beads, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. So, these welds turned out quite a bit better. Turns out when you do prep work, it actually turns out nice. So, we'll start making our top pieces that come out, that'll connect to this. We're gonna have to cut them up, but that'll be the next step. So, this is kind of where we're at. We got this top piece, clamped all this, got this tacked, all welded, laid some nice beads. Some beads turned out nice, some beads turned out really crappy. I ended up switching to stick because, you know, stick tends to burn through poorly prepped metal or not prepped metal a lot better. So when I was doing the welds inside here, I ended up just running some 7018 332nd. I had it at like 90 amps. It's still a little bit on the hot side, but I think it'll end up working fine. I was kind of filling in a large gap and putting a lot of heat in one spot. So I'm going to finish off. I got two pieces over here of 16-inch quarter thick, I think like an inch wide. So we're gonna lay those and mark some spots. I'm gonna do a little bit of grinding in here. That's what the welder is gonna end up sitting on. And then I got casters in the truck. We need some bolts for those, and we'll have bolt casters on just in case they end up going bad. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So when we don't do much as far as prep work goes, the stick welder works way better. I welded those nuts on so that we can wrap a bungee cord around for the gas tanks. Right here I did some prep work because I'm going to use the MIG gun, and then we're going to weld on our casters. So I was thinking about where I was going to put them, and having to drill through all this crap probably isn't going to end up working the best. So we're going to weld those on. We're not going to put super long beads on them just in case they go bad. We'll end up cutting them off and probably replacing them and upgrading them throughout the process. But we're going to tack these on, and then we're going to flip it over, put the welder in, and see how it all looks. Alright, here we go. So we got some wheels on the thing. Rolls around nice. All four are casters, so we can kind of position it any way we want. Welded this on here so we can wrap up our MIG lead, because that one's probably going to stay attached to it all the time, just because it's going to end up being kind of a pain in the butt. And my favorite part is that you can totally jump this thing. Check it out. Get on it, and this way do it. And then you can probably do a kickflip with it, but maybe not yet. We'll put the welder in, and then we'll do a kickflip. But now, we're going to try and stick this in here and see how it fits. I'm going to leave the MIG gun attached, so this is going to be really fun. I should probably disconnect my gas because I really don't want that bottom to fall over. That would be just the best thing in the world. Yeah, good thing we closed our gas before we did that. Try not to smash the ever-living heck out of this thing. Oh, sweet. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I want to use it for a while. Once I kind of figure out what I'm going to do as far as like a top for this, I might just do some expanded metal. And eventually I'm going to paint it so that it actually look nice, because this kind of looks not great. But we'll throw a paint job on it. might end up welding more of these on here for like a ground and for the cord. I suppose we can put the cord on there, right? Ooh, that. It's like it was meant to be. Oh, cool. We at least got something holding this up now. I would like more tension on that though. So I spent all day Saturday, a little bit on Sunday, pretty much all day today welding with this new Everlast Welder. And I gotta say, I really like the thing. The auto sets are much closer than some of the reviews that I saw on YouTube. The stick function is great. This thing's stick welds amazing. All I've been using is the auto sets, so just set it to your material and it welds great. It MIG welds awesome. The penetration, I mean, this thing can weld a lot better than I can weld. Just burning in a bunch on that cutting edge, making Dad a hitch for doing ice shanty stuff. We're gonna put a winch on it so it's just easier to pull the shanty back on, because why would we do it the easy way, you know? Dad's watching this, he's probably laughing right now. But yeah, Everlast Lightning MTS 225. If you got the coin, I would definitely recommend this. Welds great, ton of parts, auto set's perfect. Also, if you want a cheap welding bench, highly recommend the Craftsman 10-inch table saw. I've been welding on this thing all weekend, and it's worked out perfectly. I've been able to clamp everything on there. So here's our cart. Eventually we'll get a paint job for it. We got all of our casters on. We'll be able to swing it around and push it up against the wall and make it as easy as possible. Eventually I'm going to tie something in, probably right around here as a lifting point, so we can just lift this up as a whole unit. For that, I'll probably end up putting a bungee cord around the welder itself too, just so it's not moving around at all if we ever have to move this to Mom and Dad's, or if we're doing stuff out in the field, it'll just be nice and easy. Pick it up, take it out, do welding, bring it back. So that's going to conclude. If you guys like this content, and if you'd like to see more of me welding, and also eventually we'll get a 100% argon tank and we'll try out TIG. But if you want to see that and more, please like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and we'll see you on the next one.